and gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. I'd like to thank you all for joining me, and most importantly, I'd like to thank you all for your understanding. Last week we had a bit of a technical issue with the sound quality. I believe we have found the solution. I was going off Wi-Fi, which they say is, it's playing with fire. It is. It's like taking a redhead out to a fancy dinner on the first date. You're playing the odds, my friend. So we are Ethernet ready. I don't know why the show hasn't been hooked up to Ethernet this entire time, but I think for me, I just always had faith in the Wi-Fi, and that faith was misplaced. So, lesson learned. We are now Ethernet fan showing, Ethernet broadcasting by the good people of Comcast. They're not a sponsor. Why even say it? By Comcast, because nobody else provides internet in the area. If I could have literally any other internet service provider, I would. I really would. If IHOP decided to be IHOI, yes, International House of Internet, IHOIP, there we go, International House of Internet Providers, I would have the IHOIP internet service before I would have Comcast. And for those of you that don't understand the joke or get the reference, it's because IHOP announced yesterday that they are no longer IHOP. They are now IHOB. B as in Bravo. And if you don't know your military phonetics, then that's shame on you, because anybody that says be like boy, no, this is actually Be Like Burgers, though. International House of Burgers. This is in no way part of our headlines portion of the program, but I just feel that it's necessary. We've been segueing so nice this first 3 minutes of the show, so let's keep it rolling. But yes, IHOB. And why? I don't understand. You are IHOP. IHOP does pancakes, and breakfast. That's what I thought the B was going to stand for, was International House of Breakfast. It would make more sense, would it not? If you're IHOP and now you're just like, we do more than just pancakes, so we should be International House of Burgers, because we do burgers and other stuff. Like, it's just International House of Breakfast. Why not? If you're going to flip the letter upside down, okay. Flip it upside down, or I guess right side up now, and then flip it again in order to get a B. Otherwise, you get a D, and that's IHOT, International House of... I don't want to know what that house is. It was a good weekend, though. Great weekend in sports action, which we have plenty to discuss, because this is the final week of the regular season for the Indoor Football League. And that means that we're going to have playoffs. That's right, we're going to have playoffs, and it's only going to be a playoff, really. 2 games. Win, you advance to the championship. Lose, well, better luck next season. And it's crazy. It's here, then it's gone. The off-season that was so much controversy and chaos, we finally we're on the brink of a complete season after all of that. Some people said that it wouldn't even last the full season. I said, hold my belt, because this thing was going to happen, okay? It was. I'm still not a fan of the CIF. They can go do not so nice things. They can go join Comcast at IHOP. There we go. We got a great show for you, though. Judd Harrold of the Sioux Falls Storm will join us. They had a great weekend, to say the least. Man, that was an incredible game. And then Coach Billy back by request. And I don't mean that I requested him or that someone else requested him. He said, when can I be on the show next? I said, you free Tuesday? Tomorrow we got another new BattleBots segment confirmed right now. Al Kindle, the driver of Blacksmith, who I will admit I am a mark for Blacksmith. It's one of my favorite bots out there, other than Sharko and Huge. There's just something about watching a bot that doesn't have the conventional spinner weapons or plows, and this thing goes out there with a giant hammer and just starts swinging. I love it. I really do. So we're going to have him on, waiting to hear on a few others to see if they can possibly make it a twofer tomorrow night. I think that would be a lot of fun for Wednesday. Do 2 BattleBots interviews, because we're picking up into the season. It's been a great season. Of course, tomorrow is Power Rankings Day and weekly top 10 for BattleBots, so you'll want to pay attention for those. And Thursday, I'm not sure yet. I want to have Drew Powell on to preview the Iowa Barnstormers regular season finale. It's a big one. It's against in-state rival, the Cedar Rapids Titans, who, good news for them from this last weekend as well, which we'll talk about. And we'll see if there's anyone else available from the NAL. Maybe one of the Pirates can come on and talk. But that will bring us to the headlines portion of the program. And the headlines, of course, once again, brought to you by Ethan and the good folks at Dynamite Enterprises. They want to help you customize your world because they believe that your world can be customized. And I am a living proof of just how great their business practices as well as their product quality are. Because I have a bunch of shirts that are flying off the shelves, and I got so many to send out tomorrow. Thank you, Fan Nation, for your purchases. Greatly appreciate it. My goal was 20. I believe that if I sold 20, I could the shirts, the show would pay for the United Bowl trip itself, which would be a first in fan show history, to have one of the trips paid for by means not budgeted into our daily lives, which is why part of the tour had to be kind of put on hold for a stretch there, is because going into the planning, had to, certain things had to be put on the back burner, and we couldn't allow that anymore. So if I sell enough shirts, 20 is the goal, and I think I've got 8 left before I reach that goal, which is fantastic, then the United Bowl trip should be, I'd say, probably about 75% paid for itself, because I haven't looked at the tickets yet. But as soon as this week is done, I will go ahead and book my ticket, knowing that it could very well be one of at least 3 locations in the IFL. Actually, it would be a 50-50 if I recall right. Anyway, Ethan, Dynamite Enterprises. So go and customize your world. The shirts are fantastic. He does great quality work. He does everything from shirts, hats, banners, embroidery, custom screen printing, and much, much more. If you have a foam finger that concept that you want to do, if you have lanyards that you want your name on, whatever it is, he can help you do it, and he will work with you, make sure that you get the best quality product for your money. So hit up dynamiteenterprises.com or Ethan at Dynamite Enterprises. Go and check out the Fan Show's Instagram. I tag them in everything that we do, and they've got a great Instagram as well, them at Dynamite Enterprises, that they're always updating. They're always busy, always working, so go and check them out. First thing in the order of business of headlines is that there is a, can you even say and new when it comes to repeat champions? So I guess and still, and this is not referring to boxing, wrestling, or UFC, but and still, your NBA champions is the Golden State Warriors, who 4-0 break out the brooms. It was a sweep. Wham, bam, thank you, man. It just... this is why I don't watch basketball. Plain and simple. LeBron versus the world. LeBron didn't have any help. Who cares? It's the same 2 frickin' teams. It's the same 5 faces in the championship. And you need 7 games to settle this? No, you don't. This should have been like a best of 3, best of 5 maybe. But 7? No. Now it's just embarrassing yourself. You had 3 chances to win a game, and technically 4 chances to win 1 game that would have extended it beyond just the 4, but you lost all 4. Like, I have no sympathy for Bron and the Cavaliers. I really don't. He's going to go to LA, though, and have a great time with the Lakers. So the Golden State Warriors, back-to-back, they are a dynasty in the NBA, which I think is an oxymoron, because every time the NBA has a big player shift, it creates a new dynasty. This is not football, where you can have a different team win the Super Bowl every year in the champion. Now, it has had dynasties, but they have since placed rules in the game of football, i.e. the draft and salary cap, to ensure that that doesn't happen on a regular basis. And so they've tried to do similar things in the NBA, but it's a 5-person team sport as opposed to an 11-person team sport. and it's tough to do. So congrats, I guess, to Golden State. Everybody knew this from the beginning. Like, I don't know how many more they'll win, but they're 3 of the last 4. And LeBron is going to pack it up and leave Cleveland once again. In hockey, though, and new and first time was the Washington Capitals, defeating the Vegas Golden Knights series 4-1. Vegas got the first one and then dropped the last 4. So it was won in Vegas, just like the NBA championship was won in Cleveland. God, they got to figure that out better. They really do. Neutral sites for everyone, okay? Everyone, neutral sites. But hockey, really the best thing about this is not only does Washington get its first Stanley Cup championship, but Ovechkin, is that how you say his last name? Ovechkin's been having a blast, man. Connor Ferguson with the thread of the day yesterday for all the antics and everything that he's doing since winning and with the cup. Like, he's taken that thing everywhere, which I will admit, I would drink something from the cup. I would drink from the Stanley Cup, knowing that I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I feel like that's working its way up on my bucket list. What would I drink from the cup? I don't know. I feel like champagne, maybe some Sailor Jerry. I don't know. I'm a rum guy. It would be a tough call. You can't put Bud Light in that thing, you know? I don't even know if you could put IPA in it. It's got to be something fancy. It's got to be like champagne. I don't think you could do wine. You could do beer, but it's got to be something above the lower level and just below the high shelf, right? And you could maybe put straight up bourbon and scotch or whatever in there. But yeah, question of the day. We'll ask Judd and Billy back what they would drink from the Stanley Cup. Speaking of indoor football, and congratulations to the Capitals, we had a hell of a weekend in the Indoor Football League. Sioux Falls Storm come back to win over the Iowa Barnstormers. Blocked kick returned for the 2-point safety. Holy crap, what a finish. It was probably right up there with Iowa's overtime win over the Arizona Rattlers. 51-49 is your final in Sioux Falls. That creates a 3-way tie that we're going to talk about with Judd Harrold here in just a minute, and it complicates things for the postseason picture. Basically, right now, Iowa is in the driver's seat. They win, they're in, and they've got the number 1 seed. They've been in, but if they win, the road to the United Bowl will go through and possibly be in the well at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. If Arizona wins, that complicates things. If Iowa should lose, and then, of course, with Sioux Falls as well, we'll go over all those scenarios. Also, Cedar Rapids Titans are the owners of 2 in a row now, defeating Green Bay in Green Bay's last home game of the season. They will now take that 2-game win not streak, because 3 is a streak, so they'll take their back-to-back wins, there we go, to Iowa to see if they can make this playoff picture more complicated than it already could be. And then, of course, the Nebraska Danger fall ass first into the playoff picture. Their record currently, do you want to hear it? 4-9 gets you into the playoffs, while the top 3 are 10-3, 10-3, and 10-3. Cedar Rapids Titans 3-10, Green Bay Blizzard 2-11. So everybody got a couple of wins this season, and we still got a week left. So that's the good news. And we'll see what happens this week. Nebraska and Arizona were both on a bye week. In the National Arena League, Cobras crushed the Sharks. Drowned the Sharks, maybe? I don't know. But, man, it started out great game, and then they just all gas, no break. We'll talk to Billy back about that. Columbus Lions get another big win over the Maine Mammoths. I don't know how much that adds to their credibility, but we've got some moving and shaking to do on this week's Power Ranking. So with that will do it for the headlines today. We'll talk BattleBots tomorrow, so don't think I forgot. And we're going to go and fetch my first guest, Judd Harrold of the Sioux Falls Storm. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The F.A.N. Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's the F.A.N. Show.
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons. Like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Like, Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Joining me for another helping of football and nonsense is member of the Sioux Falls Storm, Judd Harrold. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Doing great. I gotta say, I love a good game. I love a good finish even more, though. And you guys had one for the books right up there. I'd say it's got to be one of the toughest arguments as far as what was the game of the year between that one and then Iowa's overtime win in Arizona. But you guys, you were down, you came back, and then as time was expiring, they go for the field goal attempt, which some thought was a weird call, and you guys block it, take it back, and it's a safety. Game over. A walk-off safety like I've never seen before. I know that it's not the championship, but for you, for this season now coming to a close, what did that win mean specifically for you?
I think it's a big win, especially heading into the playoffs here in 2 weeks. It gives us a lot of momentum going that way, and it really kind of helps our team and the way that we've been playing lately, kind of slow. It gives us more encouragement that, we're never down or out no matter, what happens in a ball game. So I think more than anything, it's encouragement moving forward.
Yeah, obviously, I think it's a big boost for you guys who you have not been in control of really your own destiny or in the driver's seat for the last better portion of the season because it's been all Arizona and Iowa and trying to sort that mess out. But now you guys have to go and complicate everything. We have a 3-way tie. Basically, my understanding, if Iowa wins, then all roads go through Iowa. And then if you guys win, it's still pretty much you're going to be on the road no matter what because Arizona has the wins over you guys.
Sure.
So you guys have been down but never out. This is nothing really too new for you guys. You guys are in the postseason, but not being at home might be something different for you. What's the mentality as far as traveling in the postseason and maybe not having the United Bowl in Sioux Falls for the first time in like a decade?
Yeah, that'll be definitely a little bit different. Someone was asking me the other day, hey, what do we do? When would we travel if we're on the road? And I was like, to be honest with you, I don't know. That's never happened before. So we laughed about it. But, I think the mentality stays the same, one game at a time, one play at a time, and just try to do everything we can during the week, preparing and practicing, and then go out and perform and execute that game plan.
Yeah, I talked to your guys' quarterback, Lorenzo Brown, last week, and I said, there's a lot of folks that were sleeping on you guys because it just seemed like this was maybe a different team that we were seeing, and it is what it is because you guys lost some players. Tyler Knight retired, but you kept some good ones. Obviously, you've been a hell of a playmaker this season, and it's helped out tremendously. But he said, don't sleep on us because we're still the Sioux Falls Storm at the end of the day, and we always, find our rhythm, find our place. Is that kind of been Coach Riggs' message in the locker room?
Yeah, and, I remember doing an interview I think right before last time I came on your show and talking about peaking at the right time. And I really think that speaks volumes in what we do here. And I think we're starting to play some of our best football of late, although we are still making some dumb mistakes. I think, the offense, obviously defense too, but obviously they play offense. We're starting to play at a high level and do some things. And everyone seems to be getting more and more involved and more comfortable with the offense. We had Damian Ford make some great plays last week, and then we also signed Damon Powell, who's explosive player, and he can go the distance at any moment. So we're definitely, I think, moving in the right direction and starting to click on all facets here at the right time.
Yeah, and I mean, Coach Riggs, he's got a fantastic mentality when it comes to these types of situations. You guys are going to play Green Bay, who, I mean, their hopes were kind of dashed when they couldn't get that win after, having 2 wins in the last 3 games against Nebraska. So I don't know, they're probably playing for pride at this point, but they're on the road. So you guys, knowing that it doesn't have a huge impact on you, like, are you guys resting players? Like, how does this last game work for the Sioux Falls Storm?
No, we're not. We're going in like this is a playoff game. We got to go 1-0 this week. We got to build momentum. We understand, we got to get better towards our end goal. Otherwise, we're not going to achieve it, and that's the bottom line. So we're going at Green Bay like this is week 1 of the playoffs.
Okay, so playoff mentality against Green Bay hosting. Is there anything in your mind that you feel this team needs to clean up before it gets into the postseason?
Yeah, we just need to eliminate, we kill ourselves more than anything, whether it's turnovers. We had a couple last week, and then I think just mental mistakes, like not going out and doing the right assignment. If we eliminate those 2 things, we are extremely tough to beat, and
oh yeah,
and I think if we walk out of a game with 0 turnovers and limited mental mistakes, I don't think we get beat. That's my opinion, but I think we're too good to, and a tough out for everybody. So
now, you guys, there's not really a splitting the series in this league because you played, I think Arizona was like the only team that you didn't play a third time. But you could in the playoffs and obviously the championship, depending how the seeding works out. But with Iowa, you guys got that win against them in their home. They got the one against you in your home, and then they had to come to you guys for the third time. Was there any sort of additional gratification to get that win, especially in the way that you did with the comeback and then the walk-off safety on the blocked kick?
Sorry, what was your question again? Was there any
sort of extra gratification beating Iowa the way that you guys did?
I don't know. I mean, the first game of the year versus Arizona, we kind of had a similar. So it was kind of nice for one of them to go on our side, and the way that it was in our favor. We had gotten a safety, we fumbled the ball, and then it got bobbled around, and I ended up tackling the shirk in the end zone.
Yeah.
For the safety, and that kind of swayed the momentum in their favor because we were going down to score at the end of the game, and that definitely changed things, and we ended up losing that game to start off the year. So it was nice for it to, but I don't think there's any added incentive or, it's just, at the end of the day, it's another regular season game building towards what we want to achieve here at the end.
Yeah, and obviously that's going to be a championship win. Was there anything said to you guys from Coach Riggs or any of the leaders there on the team, like Lorenzo, that maybe changed some mental toughness for you guys? Because like I said, there was a lot of people talking that this wasn't the same Storm team. Was it the same sort of we'll prove them wrong mentality all the way through, or was there anything sort of inspirational mentioned that kind of, I don't know, kicked a few guys into gear?
Well, we do a word of the day here and after practice, and we've had a lot of great ones over the course of the year, and I think Coach Riggs has done a really good job bringing back a lot of ex-Storm players to relay the message and relay what kind of football needs to be played and what the Storm mentality really is. So that's been great. We had Coach Andre Fields come on about 2 weeks ago and really deliver a great message there. So I think there's been some good inspirational stuff that you can take away from that hopefully inspires people and not motivate them. So, yeah.
Well, I feel like it's a cliche question to ask that probably has a cliche answer, but of course I got to, because maybe I'll catch you off guard a little bit. Do you have a preference on who you play in this first round?
To be honest, no. I think everybody wants to see Arizona at some point. Just being that we lost twice to them, but I wouldn't say we have a preference here or there. You kind of know what you're going to get with both of them because it's only a 6-team league. So definitely looking forward to playing in the postseason, though.
All right, man. Well, there's no team better to be primed for the postseason than you guys, and it may not have been the way that you had envisioned it, but nonetheless, you're there and your ticket's punched, and so now we just wait to see where the chips fall as far as who goes where to play where. But hey, best of luck this weekend, and of course in the rest of the postseason. And if I see you in the United Bowl, even better. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on today.
Hey, man, take care. Tell the rest of the guys I said hey.
Okay, will do.
All right, tight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for me and Judd Harrold, and somebody who cannot wait to get on the Fan Show is Coach Billy Back, and he's coming up next right after this.
You're listening to The Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's the F.A.N. Show!
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons. Like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Like Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, pun intended, because I've got the head coach of the Carolina Cobras, Billy Back, joining us after a huge win, and I don't even know if that does it justice, but over the reigning champion Jacksonville Sharks. How you feeling today, Coach?
I'm feeling pretty good. Not too bad.
Not too bad. I feel like that's a lot of modesty from you right now.
I know. I just got a spaghetti on the stove, a glass of wine in hand. My wife and kids, she's expecting to have another baby, so I got that news told to me before the game on Saturday. So try processing a game knowing you have a third child on the way. So I feel pretty good. So I don't feel too bad. That's why I said it.
Well, yeah, I meant to say congratulations to you, but you beat me to the whole announcement thing. But yes, you are expecting another. And was that her intent to tell you before the big game? Because I feel like if there's anything left in the world that's going to rack nerves like yours, it's going to be something along those lines.
You cut out. What'd you say?
I said, was it her intent to give you the news before the game? Because if you're a tenured coach, there's not a whole lot that's going to rattle you, but I feel like if there was anything that was going to distract you from your game plan, this would be like the one thing that would.
Yeah, I was distraught a little bit, distracted. She always likes to challenge me on things, and I think this is a challenge. Like I'm going to tell him about this day before the game and see how well he coaches, knowing that it's in the oven. And so the whole time I just, think about it and laugh and smile and totally forget what play to call. I think I forgot the play sheet in the locker room for the first half. And the second half, when we scored 50-some points in the second half, I actually had the play sheet. And so, Charles asked me, he said, "Wait, where's the little play sheet we had this in practice?" I was like, it's on my desk. So my mind wasn't even there, just, so the points we put up was in the first half was all just Chuck being Chuck, just us guessing plays. And in the second half, it was all the stuff that we thought would be open, which was open.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed like a pretty distinct difference between the first half and the second half, and I'm glad that you've got that much faith in your quarterback to go out there and just play how he feels. Now, of course, this was what had been advertised as a tough Jacksonville team, but they certainly didn't look like it, and maybe it was an off night for them. Who knows? But obviously, you guys have got to feel really good at this point. You're at top of the standings right now, which is 7-2 record, and next to that is the Columbus Lions, and then, of course, Massachusetts and Jacksonville. We're about midway through the season. How would you grade yourself and the time in the NAL and everything that you've had to go through to get this franchise, up and running?
Well, I like to say the Jacksonville Sharks are a good team. They got a great quarterback, Adrian McPherson, and just a testament to our defense. Mike Green and what he's done in the secondary and getting everybody on the right page and just making the proper checks. Coach Smith has the initial call. Mike has a check to any certain motion they have, and they just have been lights out pretty much all year. We had a problem early on the first game against Jacksonville with the deep ball. But the 50-50 ball. Anybody can make the play. And since then, our guys have fixed it, and just the way the secondary's meshed for us. It's safe to say we have the best secondary in indoor football. And I like to believe that because of the fact that the way those guys, how much they mesh and the chemistry together. They eat lunch, drive together everywhere, work out together, and it's pretty awesome seeing them work. Awesome seeing them work. But I'm biased because it's my team. Of course, I'm gonna say it's the best, but I honestly do believe that. They got the best quarterback, the best receivers, the best DBs, so on and so forth. So that's how a coach has to feel. But I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the way our team has played. Our special teams, Craig Peterson. He's a mental midget at times. Gotta love him because some days he'll make 9 deuces and miss 10 extra points. And other days he'll be automatic on extra points and miss everything but left on deuces. But, he's consistent in what he's doing. And he's a great teammate, great guy. He's fun to be around. So where we're at right now, the record we got, I'd like to have a better record. I felt like we gave one away last time we played Columbus. We owe them something special next Saturday. And our guys are pretty focused. They never very often practice on an off week, on a bye week, as hard as we did today. On Monday, our film session, and we're back at it tomorrow, game prepping for Columbus. We've got something that we've got to prove because we gave that one away. Up 13 with a minute 37 left. You're not supposed to lose those games. And guys are disappointed how they ended. Heck, Mike Green left his man, the game winner. And he's, assured himself that he's going to make amends for that mistake. Likewise with our offense. We had a few players out that game, and we're back to 100%. So it's going to be pretty exciting, But the record we have being top of standings is great. We want that home playoff game. We want to be able to, host a championship if we make it that far. That's our goals is to make money throughout these playoffs for the ownership. And so I couldn't be more proud of our guys and our staff and our ownership and our families supporting us for all the hours we put in.
Yeah, I was going to ask if this bye week was any different for you because obviously you had one last time after a big home win against the Pirates, and now you guys have another one after a big home win against the Sharks. I mean, teams don't need more than maybe 1 or 2 bye weeks depending on how they're spaced out, but I didn't know if if you let your guys go home or if you want them to stick around. Like, how do you mentally prep your guys when there's no action going on that weekend?
Well, you want to keep the routine the same. Some guys, couldn't book their tickets to go see their families the first bye week. And they could this bye, they had enough money to do it this bye week. And so if they had, tickets, travels, to go see their family, then they're more than welcome to go. So it's families first. It's kind of recharging your batteries.
Yeah.
The first bye week, I went back to Ohio and moved the family here. And so we all had things to do the first bye week, plus, to be honest, we're playing Lehigh Valley the next week. And so, no offense to Mike Clark, but they were coming off turnover. And so we took them lightly. But, any other bye week though is a regular work week for us. And with the Columbus Lions coming in, the coaching staff they have, and Jason Gibson, and the team they have, Clayton Banner's bringing all these big time players in, Steve Miller from Ohio State, Savon Pittman from Ohio State, the Auburn cat, Greg Hall, Jeremy Johnson. They got a Division I roster, and so we got to prepare ourselves to be able to play and the way our status quo is. And so we're going to work tomorrow, and then we'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday to themselves. And, of course, we'll all be in tune to the Massachusetts-Columbus game on Saturday to see how physical that matchup is. I'm hoping my buddy Amir can make that game extra physical for us. So, Amir, if you're listening, put your hat on backwards and your medium shirt and get after it, buddy. Hey, throw them challenge flags, too. Keep throwing that red flag. You lead the league in challenge flags. So, got to love them. But should be a good game. But Saturday, Sunday, we're going to relax, have a grill out or something, or go to the beach, or I don't know what we're going to do, but something relaxing. And then Monday comes around, we're back at it with our hard hats on and lunch pails and going at it.
Well, I was going to say, for the setup a couple of weeks ago maybe wouldn't look like it is now, because I was going to say you're missing out on all the fun in the IFL, but you guys are on the verge of having just as complicated of a playoff picture as they do, and then some, with the possible four-way tie and everybody beating everybody at some point. But, the IFL, three-way tie right now. I don't know how much of the games you've watched. Do you have a favorite going into the IFL postseason from what you've seen?
Well, I'm confused in the standings, so it looks like if the Barnstormers win, they're going to get the 1 seed, looks like, correct?
Yeah, they win, and it's not they win and they're in. They win and everything goes through them.
So they win. Who do they have first round? Nebraska?
Yeah.
I like Dixie's chances. I know Nebraska's had some turnover with coaches and injury bug. Coach Shack's my guy, but I think Dixie's got Damon Fowles, the best player in the IFL this season. I feel like they got the advantage over Nebraska. And then Sioux Falls and Arizona's going to come down. That's going to be a good game. At Arizona, it's going to be. That's two great coaches going at it with two great franchises. It's going to be. It's not going to be what you want to watch passing wise. It's going to be a bunch of runs, but at the same time, if you're an avid football fan itself, defense is going to be king. And so whatever defense can shut down the offense, and if Lorenzo Brown is on, it's going to be tough to stop Sioux Falls. I think they got a point to make this season. So I'm liking the winner of that game to win it all. Hate to say it against Dixie, but I just feel like that when it comes to playoffs, Sioux Falls and Arizona are different animals. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And what's interesting about Iowa's situation is that if they host Nebraska's the only other team that's beat them this season, not named the Sioux Falls Storm. And so that's, they haven't had the best run as of late, but that certainly makes for, interesting storylines if you're one of those guys. But Iowa and Nebraska is a good matchup just for that reason. And then, of course, Arizona, Sioux Falls is a really good one because that's the rematch of last year's championship that would not be in the championship. So, yeah, it's
if Shaq can get a quarterback that can run his offense correctly, I wouldn't count Shaq out in that game because of, early on I think he was handcuffed not being able to run his offense. And, I think these guys are more getting adapted to what Shaq and Coach Pig bring to the table. So, I don't know. It's going to be, those are the four best teams. And just like the NAL playoffs, the top four teams in this league, they're all 1 seeds. Massachusetts is tough. Jacksonville's tough. And Columbus is tough. And so, I was asked today, we don't want to play in the first round. If we play, if we make the playoffs, who do we want to play? And I said Lehigh Valley or Maine. I don't want to play any of these other teams. They're all equally as good as us. And so, to be honest answer was Lehigh Valley or Maine, but they won't make the playoffs. So it should be 8 of the top indoor team or any teams in the country on the IFL and the NAL. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I think for you guys, watching the broadcast, listening to the commentary team says that it looks like your fan base is growing. Is that something that you feel this team has earned, or it's something that you guys have maybe done in sort of a more personal connection with the fans at the games?
Well, yeah, every game our attendances went up. We had one game midway that was down. There's a great baseball team in the town. The Greensboro Grasshoppers, been here for many years. And, 5 of our 7 home games, they have a home game. And so, when it's rainy out here, we offer $5 off Grasshopper tickets to Carolina Cobra games. And we've had, 23 and 30 people, respective games come to our games and, in the rain out for the Grasshoppers. And so it's, our next season, our opportunities next year is to cross-advertise with the Grasshoppers and possibly get home games when they're away and have our away games when they're home. And so we can help each other, and because we're just trying to bring entertainment to the city. And with our fan base, our ninth man, our kids section, like I say kids section, I think they're high school, college students, they just get after it. They're rowdy, they're goofy, they're obnoxious, but at the same time, they're classy about it. They're not out there cussing guys out. They're using the word dork and nerd, just typical good, fun stuff, trash, but at the same time, those kids, 30 of them come into the time, and they make noise the moment they're into the arena to the time they leave. And the fans feed off of those guys. Heck, they started the wave last game. We had a wave of 3,200 people. I think our attendance was 3,200 people. And the wave was pretty solid. Went around 3 or 4 times. And, it gets the crowd involved. And we had a couple people that was the first time at the game last week. And he just said, we got to get this out. We got to get more people here. I'm thinking, we pretty much done everything we could to get this out. So our attendance is growing, winning helps, but at the same time, the more we push it and, in the public, the more butts we'll have in seats. And like I said, it's the first year, people all the way from sponsorships to businesses, they said, we want to see how the first year goes, and then we'll get involved the second year. And I think that's how the fans are too. And as we played and won and had exciting games, the 20-point win over Massachusetts, everybody was saying that was the greatest game I've ever seen. I'm thinking that was the worst game I've ever seen. I had a heart attack, but it drew fans back to us. In this past game, Jacksonville beat us the first game, and we came in there and gave them an old-fashioned ass whooping. And the fans wanted to see that as well. And, that's what, we're trying to go off each week, trying to build. I don't want 73 to 33 games every game, for the home fans' sake, because you want them to be exciting. You want to be close games. You want to, play great competition, play against the best. And so, I think our juices are flowing with, Adrian McPherson, a quarterback, 5th-round pick. Who doesn't want to play against a guy who's been drafted, who's the NFL thought was better than them? So, it made our competition level rise, and so, and our fan base is risen with it.
Yeah, and I'd certainly like to see that. I think you guys have a great organization there. It's been very well received, at least in my eyes, talking to different people that have checked out the NAL or any indoor type of football. The Cobras, they say, always have great player interaction, or of course, it's a lot of fun. The action is good on YouTube, but you guys have a big game against Columbus at home. And then I'll actually see you guys again a few weeks after that in Boston. And if I need to bring my referee shirt and Rock'em Sock'em Robots for you and Amir, I can certainly do that, because I don't need you guys going after each other on the field. But I'm certainly excited for that matchup.
That last game was it was tight in the end. And Amir and I's argument wasn't about our argument. I had an assistant coach. He just run his mouth after the game, and I kind of made Amir mad. I didn't want Amir to rip his head off, so I had to step in between them. But Amir and I was having a conversation, and we walked away and had to finish our conversation away from the people. But, the tensions mount because it's good competition, and he's a competitor, I'm a competitor. Our guys are competitors, but at the end of the day, our guys and their guys get along pretty darn good. It's good, hard, fun football, and afterwards it's just we're shaking hands. And if they get the best of us up there, then we're going to be the exact same way. We're going to be at it, arguing. We want to win the game too, but at the end of the game, we're going to bow our heads and say a prayer with them and shake their hands and and move forward. But no, they were right. There was a couple missed calls. It gets him pretty juiced up. So we kind of have a bet to see how many times unsportsmanlike. So we like to laugh at it. So yeah, I don't know if you saw Jacksonville come help our referee video when they went up there to play. You know, it was all a mirror arguing with the officials and everything. You know, come support the officials. They need your help. You know, so it's pretty funny. So I think what the league's doing itself is pretty cool. It's, you know, it's just every team in this league is, you know, getting the proper PR. And it's just good coaches and good players, and it's making it fun.
Yeah, fun's the main thing. You want to stay competitive. You want to get these guys good film, and then, of course, at the end of the day, you like the W. But it's not always about that. But you guys got great season so far and plenty more to come. The question of the show, I don't know how much hockey you watch, but there's been quite the following for the Capitals, and Ovechkin, I think is his name. And so I've asked everybody, what would you drink from the Stanley Cup?
What would I drink from the Stanley Cup? I'd probably drink, you know, I'm an old school guy. I'd probably drink Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, because I can't afford the champagne. I'd put the next best thing in there, which is Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. So I drink that from it. Matter of fact, when we win this championship, and we've won the prior championships in 2010, 11, 12, and 14, we had Miller High Life in our locker room, and we shook that shit up, drank it, chugged it, sprayed it, like it was champagne. So it's just as good. And it's a beer choice for champions.
All right. Well, I said it would have to be champagne or a beer that's like above Bud Light but below like a dark IPA. You know, it's got to be something that's smooth but also classy.
You put a dark IPA in there, I'm giving the trophy away. I'm trying to have that in my bowl. Yeah, I don't know how you guys drink that stuff. You might as well have a bowl of syrup or, you know, chocolate milk with dishwater. It just doesn't taste good at all. So give me an ice cold Miller Lite, Miller High Life. You know, throw some tomato juice in there, give me a red draw with some spices, and I'll drink that all day.
Hey, there we go. That sounds like a good mix. Well, last thing on your mind, probably the first thing right now, but if you guys were to host a championship, given this expansion journey for you, your team and its performance so far, and what you believe is their potential to rest, and then, of course, the baby announcement, like, what would it mean just to be in the championship this year, and if it was in Greensboro, North Carolina?
Well, just to get there is not the goal. You know, we've been to, you know, playoffs and stuff. We value the championship, winning it from the beginning of the year, and you know, it's to get there. You know, it's not. We get there be disappointment. If we win it, that's the goal. And so I think just winning it for Greensboro itself and then expansion year is what our goal is and what we want to get done. Anything short of that, it'll be a failed year because you never want to end the year on a loss. And so we're going to try to get it done the best we can. If we do, then we have some big things planned via our ownership, which we're excited about. Can't talk about it. Maybe you'll see some pictures on social media if it happens. But, you know, the way the NAL did it, the championship last year, they had those 3 days of teams together. I don't know if you can go on YouTube and watch it, where they had the teams gather in a conference hall and do, you know, questions, Q's and A's with the teams. Who knows each team better? Blah blah blah. A dinner and stuff. It was first class. It was pretty awesome. You know, to be a part of that would be pretty neat. And the trophy, you know, ceremony, the presentation, how big the trophy is. It's a $5,000 trophy, and the home team, the winning team, gets to keep it. Whoever wins it's not passed around like the IFL or, you know, the AFL trophy. San Jose still has it, hasn't given it back. So, you know, you missed out on all that history. So this way, in the NAL, you get to keep the trophy. Each year they buy a new trophy for the champion. And so, no, we're pretty excited to make the playoffs for one, because I think we've clinched the playoff spot already. And so for us to be able to make the playoffs and get the championship, you know, our goal is to win it, and it's not just to get there. So we'd be disappointed if we didn't win it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I already requested the time off for the championship weekend, so I look forward to being there and a part of it, whoever's in the matchup. But, hey, great job so far this season. If I haven't already said it enough, I mean that. I think what you guys have done there in Greensboro is fantastic. You guys are one of my favorites, and I wish you guys nothing but the best for the rest of the season. And again, congratulations on the newest addition. Your defensive back, cornerback? What did you guys decide?
Well, he's probably going to be a D3 athlete, so we're looking at if he's not a kicker like Randy, D3 athletes, they're not D3, they're kickers, and so he's going to be about 5'8", 170 coming out of high school. So if he's not left-handed, maybe he has a shot at baseball. Now, right now he's throwing things. My middle son is throwing things left-handed, so I'm kind of worried about him. So he has to be a pitcher or outfielder. He's kind of screwed himself in his career. But this little one coming out, whether it's a girl or a boy, it's either going to be in the band at Ohio State if it's a girl, best damn band in the land, get dad free tickets for the Buckeyes, or it's going to be a boy, probably playing at a Division III school, Guilford College here, Greensboro College, somewhere, small school, just putting in the work and hopefully get noticed.
Hey, there you go, Coach. You got it all planned out. So best of luck to the fam and the wife and everybody, and Schmitty that I said hello, and I'll look forward to see you guys again later on this season.
Absolutely, and get that silver tie. Put that gold tie up on the shelf.
Yeah, you're right. It's time. It's time. Silver tie. I got it.
Silver tie. I'm going to send you one. I'm going to find one. I'm going to send you one.
There you go.
Have it when you come back.
All right. Sounds
wear it
good.
in Massachusetts.
All right. Sounds good,
Have
Coach.
a good night, Rich. I appreciate it.
You too. Have a good night, Coach.
All right. Goodbye.
And that was Coach Billy Back. Always good for a laugh. Wow, look at the time. That is going to do it for our Tuesday edition of the Fan Show. And in case I didn't mention it already, the IFL postseason is upon us. We know who's going to be in there, but we don't know who is going to play where. And that is all dependent on the outcome of this weekend. Sioux Falls Storm will host Green Bay Blizzard. Really, not a whole lot going on with this one. If they win, yeah, it's better for them. It's momentum going into the postseason, so that's great. But it really, if Arizona loses and if Iowa loses, we'll talk. But right now, Iowa hosts Cedar Rapids. They win, and all roads to the United Bowl go through and possibly make a stop in Des Moines, Iowa. For Arizona, if they win and Iowa loses, then you're looking at the road going through Arizona and then possibly making the stop in Phoenix for the championship. So Iowa right now looks to host at least one playoff game. Arizona also looks to host at least one playoff game, the United Bowl being the wild card. Now, if Sioux Falls wins and both of those teams lose, then I believe they're still on the road no matter what. They've sort of split the series with Iowa, so they may, in fact, end up being a 2 seed behind Arizona as a 1 seed. We'll talk more about it Thursday. I'll talk to Drew Powell. We'll see what's going on. But that is what your week in the Indoor Football League looks like for the NAL. We've got a couple of matchups coming up. It's going to be the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks on the road in Maine to take on the Mammoths. And we also have the Columbus Lions taking on the Massachusetts Pirates. That'll be a great game as well. Cobras and Sharks are on a bye week, but the Cobras will take on the Columbus Lions at home in Greensboro next week, and that'll be a fantastic game. We got power rankings tomorrow for the NAL and the IFL. We've got weekly top 10 for BattleBots, of course, don't forget. And we've got shirts for sale. If you guys would like a shirt, hit me up. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, if you got my number, text me, and you can Snapchat me as well. Just need to get your size, the address, and then I'll send you a nice little thank you note. I'll pay for the shipping and handling and all that good stuff. So $20 and a Team Fan Show official shirt can be yours to sport however, wherever. Don't forget you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and catch us live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Spreaker.com or thefanshow.com, your home base for all things football and nonsense. And we will be back, same Fan Show time, same Fan Show place tomorrow night, double dose, hopefully, of BattleBots as we continue our weekly segment through BattleBots Season 3. Very excited about that, and shout out to the fan that had the perfect episode for his listening pleasure last week, talking BattleBots and Jacksonville Sharks. grew up in Jacksonville, competed in BattleBots, and that is the goal of the Fan Show. If I can create the perfect crossovers for you guys, I will do it in a heartbeat. So, till next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.